Last time I roasted the watches everyone recognizes. The Rolex guy, the Apple Watch guy, the Casio guy. So this is part 2, by popular and slightly aggressive demand. This time it isn't the watches your coworkers recognize, it's the watches enthusiasts actually wear, argue about, and quietly judge each other over. I've met every one of these people, and God help me, I'm several of them. And stick around for number 13, because that's the one man who is quietly appalled by everyone else on this list, including me. Let's get into it. Number 1. Timex. The Timex owner does not think of themselves as a watch person. And that is the whole charm of them. They own one watch, it's a weekender on a striped fabric strap or a little marlin somebody gave them, and after they put it on in the morning, they check the time on their phone anyway, out of habit, without noticing the small machine already strapped to their wrist. To them, the idea that a watch could cost more than a used car is not offensive, it's just confusing. Why would anyone do that? And here's what they're accidentally right about. The watch does one job, it does it well, and it does not ask for a single thing in return. That old line about taking a lickin' and keeping on tickin' was earned over decades. There is more real history in that cheap little watch than the price would ever suggest. The Timex owner has nothing to prove, which puts them about 10 steps ahead of everyone else in this video, myself very much included. Number 2, Bulova. The Bulova owner thinks Bulova is a much bigger deal than anyone else in the room has decided it is. They found it at a department store, got a real Swiss-adjacent look for a friendly price, and walked out believing they'd gotten away with something. Now they want to tell you about the Precisionist, the one with the smooth, sweeping second hand that runs at a higher frequency than normal, and they will demonstrate it for you like they are unveiling a tourbillon. But give the man his due. The Accutron history is legitimately cool. The tuning fork movement was a genuine piece of engineering in its day, and a modern Bulova is a handsome watch for the money. The only problem is that the Bulova owner is keeping score in a game nobody else knows is being played. Wear it happily. Just read the room before the Precisionist speech. Number 3. G-Shock. Now, we did Casio last time, but that was the guy wearing a cheap G-Shock to prove he was above watches. This is a completely different animal. This is the true believer. The G-Shock true believer does not own one G-Shock. He owns 11. There's a G-Shock for the gym, one for hiking, one for the office, and one for the theoretical day he might need to survive in a jungle. A day that has never once arrived. He treats indestructibility as a personal, moral philosophy. Ask him about any other watch and he'll tell you it's fragile, it's jewelry, a liability waiting to happen. And annoyingly, the watch backs him up completely. A G-Shock is the greatest tool watch ever built. You can drop it, freeze it, run it over, take it to war, and it keeps perfect time through all of it. The only joke is that one G-Shock does everything he actually needs. He owns 11 because the collecting is the hobby, not the surviving. Number 4. Seiko. If this hobby has a gateway drug, it's Seiko. And the Seiko owner is the most evangelical person in any watch conversation on earth. You'll know him fast because he will tell you, unprompted and with real religious certainty, that Seiko is the best value in all of watchmaking. He owns a Seiko 5 or an SKX diver, and there's a good chance he's already taken it apart on his kitchen table to swap the dial and hands himself, because modding your Seiko is a rite of passage he assumes you also want to hear about. And you will hear about it. Now, this is a very different obsession than the Grand Seiko sermon from last time. The Grand Seiko guy is polishing. This guy is building. And the value really is a little absurd. Workhorse movements that run for decades, dive watches that outperform their entire tier, and the deepest, most welcoming, most exhausting community in the whole hobby. You were the most requested brand in the comments, Seiko people. This is your moment. Please, calm down. Number 5. Orient. Orient is the quiet one who is thrilled that you have never heard of it. This is the budget mechanical secret keeper. He knows the Bambino is one of the best-looking, affordable automatics you can put on a wrist. He knows Orient makes its own movements in-house, which brands 10 times the price cannot honestly claim, and he loves, absolutely loves, that this is insider knowledge you do not have. Owned by the same group as Seiko, quietly excellent and totally content living in the shadows. The honest turn is easy here. It is a lot of watch for very little money. The kind of value that feels almost like a mistake in your favor. The only roast available is that the Orient owner enjoys knowing something you don't, just slightly more than he enjoys the watch itself. Number 6. Citizen. And right next to Orient sits Citizen, the set-it-and-forget-it adult who solved the watch problem years ago and has not thought about it since. The Citizen owner discovered EcoDrive, the technology where light charges the watch so you never replace a battery, put it on, held it up to a window one time, and mentally closed the file forever. No winding, no fuss, no service drama. He quietly thinks the rest of us, fretting about power reserves and service intervals, are being a little silly. And he might be right. EcoDrive simply works. The watches are tough and handsome and reliable, and the satellite-synced models set themselves from space without being asked. Nobody is ever impressed by a Citizen, which is exactly how the Citizen owner wants it. Solved the problem, moved on with his life. Honestly, respect. Quick one before we keep going. If any of these have described you a little too accurately, hit subscribe, because that's the engine that keeps this channel running, and the comment section on these is the best part of my week. That's the sensible, affordable end of the table covered. From here on, it's the watches people genuinely fight about. Onward. Number 7. Tissot. Tissot is the first serious Swiss watch a lot of people ever buy. And right now, the Tissot owner is riding the PRX wave like he personally carved it out of the 1970s himself. You know the look. The integrated steel bracelet, the waffle-textured dial, that whole retro sports watch shape that got very popular very fast. The Tissot owner found it, fell instantly in love, and now talks about the design like it's a personal discovery, rather than a trend half the internet also found the same month. But it's a great on-ramp, real Swiss quality at an honest, accessible tier, and that Powermatic movement with the long power reserve is a legitimate value story. Tissot is how a lot of good collectors start out. Just, please, a little humility. You did not invent the integrated bracelet. You bought a very nice one. Number 8. Tag Heuer. The Tag Heuer owner wanted a Rolex. I want to be gentle about this because a lot of you asked for Tag by name, but we have to begin there. They wanted the Rolex, and then the waitlist happened, or the budget happened, and they walked out with a Tag instead, and made their peace with it the only way anyone ever does, by talking about motorsport constantly. Everything is racing. The Carrera is named after a race. The Monaco is the square one Steve McQueen wore. Senna comes up. Formula One comes up. You will learn that this is a serious driver's watch, from a man whose most aggressive driving happens in a Honda in school-run traffic. And the thing is, the heritage is real. Tag Heuer has genuine motorsport history. The Carrera and the Monaco are honest icons, and Steve McQueen really did wear one. It's a good watch. It has simply been, and may always be, the bridesmaid, forever standing next to the Rolex, never quite becoming the Rolex, which is a perfectly fine place to live, if you can just stop mentioning laps. Number 9. Longines. The Longines owner did the reading and cannot wait to tell you how underrated their pick is. This is the tasteful one. While everyone else was chasing hype, the Longines owner quietly worked out that this is one of the smartest values in real heritage Swiss watchmaking. Bought a Spirit or a Master, and now needs you to appreciate the calculation. Longines punches so far above its tier, he'll say, leaning in. Did you know it has one of the oldest registered watch logos in the world? Did you know about the aviation history? And here's the part that stings. He is completely correct. Longines has one of the deepest catalogs of genuine history in the entire industry. The designs are elegant and grown up, and the value really is quietly excellent. It's a smart, slightly smug pick, and a couple of you asked for it specifically, which means there are dozens of us. Dozens. Number 10. Breitling. The Breitling owner is a pilot. Except for the one small detail, that he has never flown a plane. He wears a Navitimer, the big busy one, with the slide rule bezel wrapped around the dial that can, in theory, perform aviation calculations, a function he has used precisely 0 times, because his phone exists and also because he is not a pilot. He talks in aviation: chronograph, tachymeter, flight computer. The watch is enormous. It swallows the entire wrist, and it announces itself from clear across a room. But Breitling earned the cosplay. The aviation heritage is real. The brand genuinely outfitted pilots back when that mattered. The movements are chronometer certified, and the Navitimer is a true icon of its category. It's a fantastic watch. It's just strapped, almost every single time, to a man whose only cockpit has cup holders and a child seat in the back. Number 11. Panerai. The Panerai owner walked into the shop, found the single biggest watch in the case, and bought a personality. This is a watch you can see from space. Enormous cushion case, that signature crown guard lever clamped on the side, and a dial so legible you could read it from the next building over. The Panerai owner may not be able to tell you much about movements or complications, but he can absolutely tell you the story about Italian Navy frogmen in the Second World War, at length, whether or not the moment ever called for it. And the story is a good one. Panerai has legitimately cool military dive heritage. The radiomere and the luminor are strong design icons, and the wrist presence is completely undeniable. The gentle roast is that, historically, the brand ran on movements it bought in from other companies, so it was always a little more about presence than pure watchmaking. Roast the size. Respect the frogmen. Number 12. IWC. The IWC owner is an engineer at heart, whether or not that happens to be his actual job. He wears a big pilot or a Portugueser, and he chose it for the same reason he chooses everything, because it's well made and it does not shout. He will talk to you about the movement, about tolerances, about how Schaffhausen sits right on the German-Swiss border, so you get that precise Teutonic sensibility with Swiss finishing on top. Flashy watches faintly offend him. He finds the Rolex crowd a little loud and a little obvious, and he is far too polite to ever say so. So instead, he just adjusts his cuff and lets you notice his. The pedigree earns it. IWC has real engineering history. The pilot line and the Portugueser are proper icons, and the build quality is superb. The roast here is small and fond. He bought a watch specifically so he would never have to talk about watches, and now it is the only thing he talks about. Number 13. A Lange Söhne. Now we're getting near the top of the mountain. A Lange Söhne. The Lange owner has, in his own mind, transcended the entire game. Not old rich, not flashy rich, not different rich. Beyond all of it. He wears a German watch most people have never heard of, from a small town called Glashütte, with a movement finished to a standard that quietly embarrasses almost everyone else. And he feels a deep, serene calm about being above all the brand nonsense the rest of us are still down here arguing about. Which is, naturally, the single most advanced flex on the entire board. And if he ever meets a Patek owner, he will, with enormous gentleness, offer to compare movement finishing, side by side in good light. He already knows how that ends. So does the Patek owner, somewhere deep down. But the work is real. And this is the warmest truth so far. The finishing on a Lange, that hand-engraved balance cock, the 3/4 plate, the way the whole movement looks through the sapphire back is arguably the best in the world. The snobbery is fully earned. It is still snobbery, but when the work is that good, you let the man have it. A few of you asked for this one by name. There you go. Number 14. Breguet. And at the very top, quietly appalled by this entire list, sits Breguet. The Breguet owner is the watch nerd's watch nerd, and he has been extremely patient with all of us. He's watched us argue about Rolex and hype and integrated bracelets and said nothing, because the Breguet owner is holding the one secret that reframes the whole hobby. Breguet invented it. The tourbillon, the modern balance spring, guilloche dials, Those slim, blued steel hands, even the early idea of the wristwatch, traces back through this one name. He glances at your Nautilus the way a professor glances at a promising student, kindly, and with just a little pity. And here is where the roast dissolves completely, because he is right. And it's the perfect note to end 2 whole videos on. Breguet has the deepest, most genuine horological heritage of any brand across both lists, full stop. Those hand-engraved guilloche dials with the blued hands are some of the most beautiful objects in all of watchmaking. This is where nearly everything the rest of us love actually came from. So the superiority is, annoyingly, completely earned. If you are going to look down on the entire hobby, you may as well do it from the actual summit. So that's the list. The watches enthusiasts actually wear, argue about, and quietly size each other up over. And yes, before you type it, I own several of these, and I've been at least 3 of these guys, sometimes in the same evening. If your brand wasn't here, you already know what to do. Put it in the comments, tell me I forgot yours, and if enough of you do it, we both know how a part 3 happens. So tell me, which owner did I nail, and which one is secretly, unmistakably you? Be honest, that was always the whole point.